And it's JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba. One of his 2 touchdown catches in the game coming right here. The Seahawks wind up winning this one in front of the home crowd to begin the new season. From there, how about we head out to Buffalo? Let's check in on the Bills. They're hosting the Green Bay Packers. And this is Dawson Knox. He's going to bring this one in, and away he goes. 64 yards for the touchdown. The Bills come away with the victory. No shortage of touchdowns in this one. Ultimately, they get the job done. Lastly, let's go to Nashville. It's the Titans hosting the Jacksonville Jags. And it's TJ Hawkinson. He's going to look in the catch and then look upfield and watch this. Mark it down as a 65-yard touchdown catch. That's a wrap. Until next time, I'm Scott Hansen. Good night from all of us at EA Sports.
How's everybody doing? Happy Veterans Day. I don't know if we have any veterans in the league, but if we do, happy Veterans Day to you. I hope everybody's having a good day with, people not having to work. You get early. So sorry. With people not having to work, you get early podcasts. Let's get this out of the way. We promised to do the AFC. I didn't think I'd be doing this alone, but that's okay because that will probably mean that we will be able to cut some time and review the AFC portion of the league. Obviously, that'll be look a little different here because I am not in the AFC. So let's flip it back. We'll go from the quote unquote bottom here, like we did for the NFC. Basically, just get a tagline in there. Pick whether they're in the Arch Manning sweepstakes, middle of the pack, playoff user, or Super Bowl contender. So we'll start with the Patriots. Starting with the Patriots here. John is still searching for his first win. So I think that needs to be the headline is, can you win? Can you get me a win? Get me a win, John. You get a win here. Things start to turn around. Does a lot for your team. You've got a good opportunity in that division, I feel, to potentially be, second, third. I don't know about first is a long one, but if you could do that, that'd be pretty neat. But I would say second, third would be your best outcome and a wild card berth. But right now, I have you in the Arch Manning sweepstakes. Moving along here, we have the Browns, previous playoff team, second seed last year, got beat by the Colts in the wild card round. Browns play the Eagles pretty close to the vest, 49-46, 3-point loss. I don't think that's anything to worry about. Jakari's pretty much got to do what he's always done, which is, find that offense, play a little bit of defense in a game that doesn't really offer too much. And I think he has a relatively, in my opinion, favorable schedule to do the same thing that he did last year. His main competition is going to come within his own division. He's got a game against Alex here, back-to-back, or 2 games against Ray. So those are tough games. After that, we got AJ on the board here. Connor later on in the season. Rob and Denzel have shown that they can win games when it matters most. So a favorable schedule, in my opinion. They have an opportunity to move up, and or he has an opportunity to stay in that playoff designation. Jacob, as always, joining late. Jacob is always leaving. Moving on. Jacob joining again. Make up your mind. Well, while you figure that out, I'm going to keep going. You're not disrupting my flow. Let's see here. Next, we have the Chiefs. Brandon went home and took his home team. Had an opportunity at the playoffs last year and then fell out at the last second. I'm I'm going to say that's a little bit of fool's gold. I'm going to take him outside of the playoffs, looking in again this year. With that offense, he should be able to start moving in the right direction. And, I mean, even the defense, realistically. Let's take a look and see what he did in the offseason. Offense is relatively intact. Getting a little old at the, getting a little gray at the tight end position. That's going to have to be a focal point to start replacing. Defensively, I went out and got Hargrave. Same defense. This is a top 10 team to have in the league. Basically, we just need you to be a top 10 user, Brandon. This is a playoff team, so you need to go ahead and turn it into such. In that division, I'm trying to think who's in there. Let's take a quick look.
I'm just gonna do a quick test. Test 1, 2, 3.
You double check and make sure that went through. TK, Kevin, Brandon, and Matt. I mean, that's a relatively close-knit group. I still think you can do it, though. For this season, though, I would say outside looking in, I think you need a year or two to go ahead and get yourself going. And then we should see some big things from you after that, I would hope. Did it come through?
Okay, I'm good.
Okay. I hate that they did this to me. They have me all over the place. Alright, so we're going to move on to the Titans, and I guess we're going to have some information from Jacob here as well, since he's decided to show up late again. Dock his pay for this, John.
Share screen first, thank you.
When I'm broadcasting, it doesn't tell me that I need to set one up.
Oh, you should know if I don't have a console.
Well, that doesn't sound like my problem. Moving on to the Titans here. 59 points, over 600 yards in his first game of the year, and he came out with a loss. I don't know what to make of that. That's literally like you need one defensive play and you don't get it, and then everything else kind of all hell breaks loose and you end up with a loss. It's an ugly loss. It's a tough division, Tommy. I'm gonna say outside looking in. I think AJ's a lock. Emmanuel has proven that he can make the playoffs. Shane is always kind of there, right on the outside. You're gonna have to show me something this year, and you got an opportunity to do that. We played this week, so you're gonna have to show me that you belong in the playoff conversation. We can discuss that as the season goes on. Jacob, any thoughts on the Titans?
I watched that game versus Shane, and it looked like it was me versus Dorian. Like it was a score. He needs to address the run defense first and foremost. No one is great at pass defense, but the run defense is the one thing you need to excel at. Because Shane's running back had like three carries that broke out for like 80 yards and a touchdown each time. But I think Tommy, I love him, great guy. He has improved drastically. I just don't think in that conference, in that division, he is at that level where I can say a playoff contender. But I don't think he'll be a bottom 5 pick type thing either. So I think he'll be between that playoff tier and Arch Manning sweepstake, as I call it, the tier.
Yeah, I would say middle tier. He's definitely not in the Arch Manning sweepstakes. Let's see here. I don't think Brandon is either. I don't think Dakar is a playoff user. The only guy I've gone over thus far that I would say was in the Arch Manning sweepstakes is John, and that's just because you gotta win. You gotta win in this league. Moving along.
Go over so far, so I can just quickly.
We've gone over the Patriots, the Browns, the Chiefs, and the Titans.
Okay, the Patriots. Agree. I think Arch Manning. It's I'm just going off what I've seen. Love you, John, but it's just like it all starts with a win. Yeah, I know it's easier said than done, but yeah. The Browns, Dak, playoff user. I don't think he's at the Super Bowl contender elite level yet. For me to call him that, I need to see him be Ray in the playoffs or even this Alex guy. But I think he will. I don't think he can win the division or he'll make it as a wild card spot. So we'll see. Uh, and you said who else was after that? Sorry, Ryan. Chiefs.
We've gone over the Chiefs.
Okay, the Chiefs. Brandon. My favorite Chiefs user, my favorite Chiefs fan. I think I think he can be a playoff team. He was almost there, like you said when I joined. Like he just missed out 10-7 or 9-7 or 9-8, whatever. There was some collapse at the end of the season. He plays he plays smart football. He doesn't force it. He takes the simple stuff. There will be games where you have to force it, but if he can avoid getting himself in those situations and just control the ball, time of possession for most of his games this season, he'll be fine and dandy. But uh yeah, I'm gonna maybe a hot take, playoff user this season.
Okay. So we'll move on to our residential. Oh, never mind. I guess we'll stay here. The Colts played against the Texans, and the Texans never looked back in that game based off of what I saw last night. Just kind of dominated the Colts, and you can see that with a 55-point dropping. I'm going to start calling them droppings. Um, just Manuel's kind of an enigma. I can't really make sense of what he does in Indianapolis or relatively the last couple seasons. I don't know if he's been surpassed by the competition of the league or if he's right there and he's just trying to fine tune some things. Um, uh, Colts have to win the division, I think, to stay relevant. I don't think fighting for a wild card seed in a tight race in the AFC at the end of the season is what anybody wants to do, and that goes for both sides. It goes on the NFC side too. You don't want to be in a tight race where you do everything right and some other guy just has the tiebreaker over you or the better divisional record or whatever, strength of schedule. I'm on it. This might be a hot take. I don't think the Colts make the playoffs this year. Outside looking in, right there, but outside looking in.
Yeah, man. I don't want to say Manuel's had a drop off, but it feels like he has. I remember he's been here since I joined. So let's say but specifically the last 3 or 4 years when you got in here, Ryan, we had known him as a sound defensive user and gets it done on offense, like constant playoff user. But I don't think last cycle he made it all but once, if at all. This cycle missed out, had a kind of clawed back in the end, but missed. No, he made it. That's right, as a seventh seed. I don't know. He hasn't been convincing enough for me, and he has a team. We know A. Rich, Jonathan Taylor. He has Christian Watson, who he traded for. But I'm gonna agree with you, Rybear, and I think he's outside looking in.
Move on to the Jets. Our residential trader seems like he trades for the sake of trading. Mel, I'm not too sure on the count. If you're saying you only have two, based off of the rules, you have three, so you would have an extra one. That is my apology. If that is the case, Mel is an interesting user. There are times where it seems like he knows what he's doing. There are times where I have no idea what he's doing, and it doesn't make any sense. With that being said, there's a very small sample size, and that sample size is not very good. It's not very compelling. It doesn't drive a good narrative home. So with that being said, I would say that Mel is probably in the Arch Manning sweepstakes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he had 2 wins last year. No, he riled back. He kind of went on a 4-5 win streak. Uh, but yeah, no. Until I see it, until I see the consistency, is Arch Manning sweepstakes for me too.
We're gonna omit the Dolphins just because we haven't had a consistent user since Dorian. We had a guy join, played like a half of football and quit, and then we've just replaced the Dolphins. I think it was today. So let's hold off on passing any judgment there. Like I said when we were discussing the Patriots, this is an open division for second place. I'm not sure where you're gonna fall in on that spectrum. I think first place is already locked up. So that's really all I have to say about the Dolphins for right now. Move into the Chargers.
I just don't care. He doesn't care for my opinion, guys.
You want to talk about a team that hasn't played a user game yet?
Yes.
By all means.
It's a great built team. I'm kidding. They have a few expiring contracts. Whoever comes in will have to make some decisions. This season is gonna be more about how you handle, because I know there's Hill coming off a contract. You got to pay some of those defensive stars. I think Willie Beamer, maybe you know better, Owen. Not Owen, Ryan. I think it's time for his contract as well.
Who the fuck is Owen?
Owen Lambert, your carryover.
Oh.
I think he's due for a contract. I don't know. There's a lot of money decisions to be made. So whoever comes in, I hope you're good at GMing. We can see here. You're right.
Wally West,
Hill, Fitzpatrick, and Beamer.
And outside looking in, you gotta resign all of them, right? Pretty much. I mean,
depends on
maybe let Tyreek go.
Is that accurate? 29.5 up in the right corner.
That would be accurate, barring any reconstruction of cap, anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Whoever comes in, you gotta make decisions. Maybe trade Hill if you join, and you can play your 4 games before you can trade. Maybe let Fitz. I don't know, but it's an interesting situation. So we'll see. I just wanted to address that because it's 490 overall.
I think you sign 3 out of the 4, and unfortunately, you trade piece Tyreek, or you just let him walk for nothing.
Yep. All right, we can move on now. Thank you.
We'll move on to, I believe we have one more 0-1 team to discuss. The Chargers. Another one. One game he looks like he's a playoff user. The other game, I mean, you see, I don't know who he played, but he scored 6 points. Do you know who he played?
I believe it was it was Rob Powers.
Okay, let's take a look. I mean, packed up from the rip.
Your favorite stat line: more turnovers, you lost the game. That's been the trend since we started this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. He looked like he got stuck in a paper bag in that game and then couldn't fight out of it. I think Matt is a good user. I don't understand. I don't know if the team's not a good fit or if he is struggling to adapt to new Madden standards. He's always been a power running player, and then you see a stat line like that with Justin Herbert. At that point, it's turn the ball around and hand the ball off to whoever's in the backfield at that point. For me, the math isn't gonna math. We have barely any teams in the playoffs or Super Bowl contenders, and I understand that I'm putting people in the same category. He's not a bottom of the barrel user by any means. I don't think he'll be looking for Arch Manning, but I do think he will be out of the playoffs.
Yeah, man. Oh, similar to me almost. When he first joined, even with his brother, they made the playoffs a couple years in a row. They were on that shit, but I feel like Matt is an old version of you. Way too reliant on the run. And I hate to break it to you guys, but it's a pass, Madden. You can get any pass you want almost if you have the right route concept. And Ryan's came to realize that. He's developed as a passer. And I think Matt, like, because I've played him, I've watched his games. It's third and long. You come out in an I form formation. You're basically just shooting yourself in the foot. So I think he has to be. He has Lad McConkey. He has. I'm sure there's other. I can't remember. Quentin Johnson. Solid Madden receivers that you have a quarterback. Use it. Until then, I'm gonna agree with you, Rybear. He will miss the playoffs. His defense is solid. It's just the offense needs to evolve.
All right, we move into out of the week 1 0-1s and move into the week 1 1-0s. And we'll start here. Super Bowl champion just knocked off Kobe in a game where it just felt like I watched most of it. Saw some interesting things from both sides in terms of tendencies. I saw something that Kobe was doing that I reached out for some information. He gave me some good pointers. I think I might start utilizing that. But Kobe made too many mistakes. This game could have gone either way. Unfortunately, the game ended with I said it in the game thread. I thought that for as good a game as it was to end with a fumble on a kick return when, you're giving the ball back up 10, I would have loved to see what Kobe would have done with that time remaining. I don't think he would have won the game anyway, but when you have a great game and in a fumble on a kick return, it feels dirty. And I know it happens in real life, but let Alex play defense, let Kobe play his offense, and let's see if Kobe can score and recover an onside kick. That's a much more compelling matchup than forcing a fumble on a kick return. With that being said, Alex won a Super Bowl, and he came out in week 1 and played a Super Bowl contender and beat him by 10 points. What else is there to say? Until he proves otherwise, he's a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, not too much to say on here. First season in the league, won a Super Bowl. Peter, is that you? It's not. I'm kidding, guys. Relax.
Lathan?
Super Bowl contender. Lathan is crazy. Super Bowl contender. Yeah.
And just to add to that, and maybe this will rile up Ray a little bit, based off of what I saw, complete and utter domination of the field in the playoffs all the way up until the Super Bowl. This is his conference, period.
Type shit.
There's not a soul in that conference right now that can contend with him. I mean,
Okay. I'll disagree with that, but go ahead.
let's break it down. He had a bye in the wild card. He played who did he play in the first round? Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Mollywopped Emmanuel. Got Ray in the conference championship. I talked to Ray after the game for a little bit. Ray scored 7 points, and he went the fuck off. He almost maxed him out on points. And then in the Super Bowl, I couldn't get a stop, and he did just enough on defense to prevent me from being within striking distance. How do you argue with facts?
Yeah, but like I said, gun to a head, Ray or Alex, I'm always going to lean on Ray because of the experience.
We did that last year.
And I'm going to stay with it. I think Ray is the one. Well, it's Alex's conference, you're right. But it's not like by a landslide. I think Ray can and will knock him off that pedestal at some point.
Well, I mean, at this point, Alex has beaten me. He's beaten Kobe. Connor beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So if that's what you want to say is quote unquote top 3 in the NFC, based off of last season, not overall, based off of last season, he's 2-1. AFC, you've got him, you've got Ray. After Ray, it kind of falls off. I mean, you've got TK and AJ. I don't know if they've played, but I mean, realistically, in my opinion, based on the style of play and how he's playing football, there's only one person that can stop him, and it's whether or not he will be able to stop him, and that's Ray. And that's what it comes down to. So how could, for me, it's if there's only one guy that can stop you from getting to the Super Bowl, and he doesn't stop you from getting to the Super Bowl, it's your conference. It's not
Right.
just his division, it's his conference. Let's jump right into the next person. Um, and like I said, this is purely from a motivation standpoint. I don't think you're a Super Bowl contender, Ray.
Wow. Wow.
You're a playoff
We know what
user.
happened last time you said
Yep.
something along those lines.
And listen, I said that out of malice. This is out of trying to light a fire under Ray's ass because I watched that game against the Bills in the playoffs. It wasn't pretty. Nothing was going his way. And I understand that. I understand definitely coming in and making mistakes. I don't think Ray did anything wrong per se. I just think he got a little bit of whiplash and then tried to put some things together. And it when you're down that bad, it doesn't work out. But if I'm going to say that the Bills own the conference, then Ray can't be a Super Bowl contender. But Ray, I need you to understand, Ray, this is not a position of what it was before, where I was saying, or essentially talking shit. This is please, please, please come out and show us. This season is a good opportunity to do that.
I think, like the saying goes, two wrongs can be a right, or two rights can be a, whatever it is.
No, no, two wrongs don't make a right, and there's no other. There's no other.
Okay, well, I
That's it.
mean, for example, in the NFC, I have you, Connor, and Ryan as Super Bowl contenders. You, Connor, and Ryan, huh? You, Kobe, and Connor as Super Bowl contenders. I think Ray's so super. Outside of Alex, with Dorian gone, I don't see anyone stopping Ray from having Ray versus Alex every single season in the AFC Championship game. Uh, with that being said, I do think he's a Super Bowl contender. It's Ray. I'll never count him out. And he has. We'll see how things are when the third kid comes. I think we'll just be done season 2. I think he said his kids do around Christmas. I don't know the scheduling and how that all will go, but again, I really don't see anyone in this conference, and I hope someone can prove me wrong, other than Alex and Ray making every AFC Championship game for the next 4 seasons.
I think that's fair. Unless something catastrophic happens to either team,
Yeah.
I think that's your AFC matchup at the end of the year, every single season, this edition. Um, Move on here, and I'll let you take over. I'm gonna grab a sip of coffee.
We have the Baltimore Ravens. Jake with a 1-0 win, blowout win, week 1. Good to see you. Love to see it. I love the team. That's my team in real life. But you know, Jake, outside of one appearance, I think in the last 3 editions, I haven't seen it from him. I don't think he won't be in the Arch Manning sweepstakes, but he'll be closer to the Arch Manning sweepstakes than he will be to the playoffs, but he won't be in the Arch Manning sweepstakes. So he'll be just a tier above that, if that makes sense. So that's where I'm gonna put him. Not middle between the playoffs and Arch Manning sweepstakes, but just above Arch Manning sweepstakes.
Yeah, I don't think he's in the position to be in the Arch Manning sweepstakes, but it almost would be better to be in the Arch Manning sweepstakes than it is to be wandering in the forest without a goal per se. And I think that's where he is. Um, the AFC North, it's Dakari and Ray's game at this current time. You're going to have to drastically improve against 2 top users and maybe split with them or beat them both outright. That's a 4-0 division record, and then you got the Steelers on the back end. I don't know if Jake can do that right now. Maybe he'll prove us wrong. I'm not sure. But at this current time, I think you're right. He's not an Arch Manning sweepstakes guy, but he's kind of right there. I'm gonna say he's middling.
Yeah. Moving. You want to keep going? Yeah. Well. Okay. Steelers. Oh boy, this is gonna sound toxic. Like I had an Arch
I
Manning
mean, he
game.
beat the piss out of the Commanders.
Is that saying much? Question mark.
The Commanders user was saying once he switched over to the PS5 that everything was going to be, kosher.
Bro, I said I was gonna win a Super Bowl last year. Then I went no. Talk is talk. Doing it on the field is one thing. Arch
I mean,
Manning
nobody
he's
believed you when you said that anyway, so.
hey, we got close. That's all that matters.
And what do you
Yeah,
say
but
is
no.
close?
I mean the NFC Championship game.
Okay. That's not close. Not after. I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't have been able to say this until last year.
Don't, because getting blown out in the Super Bowl isn't getting
I didn't
close
get I didn't get I didn't get blown out in the Super Bowl. Now hold on a second. Before last year, I had 2 AFC Championship games. Um, this would have been my third championship game.
It was. It's not would have. It was. You made it.
Okay, yeah. So it was my third championship game. It doesn't matter who's on the other side. Once you've won that game, it's like you already know you're going to be facing, guaranteed you should be facing a top 5, if not a top 3 user. And if you're not a top 5 user every year, and I've not been, I can say that. I can say that honestly. And then you're facing a guy who's literally run through people you consider to be those top 5 users. That's when things start to make a little bit more sense, and that's when it gets close. When it's kickoff time at the beginning of the game, or at halftime when the score's tied, or you're within 7, or you're within 14, or whatever. That's winning. That's getting close to winning a Super Bowl. I don't want now that I've been there. I'm sure Connor, I'm sure Ray, I'm sure Bailey, Kobe. They will agree with that sentiment. Is that getting close to a Super Bowl is not the championship game.
I agree.
And
But
if I'm wrong, then I would ask that they speak out and tell me that. But I don't. Now that I've done it, the NFC Championship game to me was just another game, and that's no shade to Connor. It's just like, okay, I won. Are we going to celebrate? No.
I guess I said I felt like last year was my best chance with that Lions team, and it was just pure until I went on vacation season 5, straight domination for the most part. Until I bumped into a Connor in the divisional, or I lost in the NFC Championship game to I think it was I don't know who I lost to, but I lost to someone, and it was sad.
And speaking on this, John Connor, I don't know who's in charge of handing out medals, but put some fucking respect on me and Denzel. I don't want a silver.
Denzel.
I don't want a silver medal next to my name. It just, it what could have been, but I earned it, man. Like, and so did Denzel.
3 of them hoes.
Yeah, why? Yeah, give me and Denzel the same amount of respect that you give it to Kobe. Kobe's got 3. I just want my 1, and then hopefully I can replace silver with gold at some point here, and then you can get rid of it. But give us our medals. We deserve them. We earned them.
Going back on task though, Steelers.
Well, hold on. Before we kick into the Steelers, the Chiefs and Dolphins have just kicked off. First quarter, Chiefs ball to start. We're going to get a first look at this new Dolphins user and see what he's all about from Brandon's Skycam. Fucking can't not stand this. I'm surprised he doesn't play in broadcast. But go ahead. Oh my god, disgusting. But go ahead. Let's move on to the Steelers.
Okay, I left week 2 last season. Okay, Drew came in, and no, I left week 3 last season. I was 1-1.
Yeah, we all remember you making trades and then deciding that you didn't want to play Madden anymore, but you stayed in another league, and then you got bitched into coming back in. Yep. Go ahead.
And went 0-7 or 0-8 with the Bears. He switched to the Steelers. He went like another 0-7 back to like he has 1 win, 2 wins now. Sorry, 2 wins in a season and just a season and getting into season 2 now. He beat the brakes off of Commanders, who we have no idea about because he was on his PC lagging. And now he got respectfully the brakes beat off him on console. Arch Manning sweepstakes. I don't know what to tell you. He's still gonna be in there for me.
I'm gonna be honest. Drew's been kind of like not on my radar. I've not paid attention, and that's no disrespect. I watched the Bears kind of crumble, and then the Steelers did the same thing. Kind of throwing a dart in the dark here. Yeah, I would agree. Top 5 pick. The division you're in does not provide with a compelling argument for anything good to happen. The conference you're in, furthermore, is also, I honestly think that the conferences this year are a little bit more evened out than they've been in the past. They've been a little one-sided, but this year it seems like we seem to have gotten things a little bit better, and I think part of that was making sure that Kobe and Dorian were not in the same conference. Splitting up Ray and Connor was a good move, and then kind of letting the other chips fall wherever they may. Chiefs just ran down the field in less than 2.5 minutes and put 7 up on the board on Miami. So, and then it looks like we have Brandon Scum kicking. Wow. Is this what everybody's doing now? Do I have to get back into my Scum kick game? Huh. All right. Move on to the Jags. What do you got here?
Playoff user. Maybe another hot.
Wow.
I know Shane. I think he was like 5 wins last season, maybe 6. Maybe it was more. I don't remember. But he wasn't in the playoff picture. But I've played Shane. I've watched his games. And Shane, I say this with all due respect because I know you're going to listen. If he would just shut the fuck up during his games and focus on the game, so much would be better. I don't say this as a
wow
or to be toxic. Ryan, be quiet. Because I've told this to Ryan, Shane. He can attest. The moment you start arguing over a play that happened 2 quarters ago or complaining about it, you're cooked. You lost. It's my ball. I'm going to win. You fumble. Travis Hunter drops it. Trevor Lawrence or whoever your quarterback is fumbles. Move on. Next play. I know it's easier said than done, but trust me. You have the potential offensively, and your defense is sound. Well, not week 1, but it usually is, to make the playoffs. And I think he's the second best team in that division. And I think he can make the playoffs. So I'm going to put him as a playoff user.
So you're high, and I'll explain why in just a moment. The reason for my emoting, Dolphins had a wide open slot fade for a touchdown, and the user went for a conservative catch instead of in my opinion, which should have been a rack catch because he would have still been running. And the receiver, I'm not sure who it was, but they dropped it wide open. No interference from Kansas City. He was gone by about 3 or 4 yards, and like I said, it'd probably be 7-7, but the guy dropped the ball. I don't know why we're going for conservative catch up the field, 5+ yards, but let's keep on keeping on. So I agree with some of what you said. I'll tell you why I think you're high. I still think Emmanuel's a better user in this division, so that would put Shane at 3rd. Any division sending 3 people to the playoffs is a feat. I do think Shane has the opportunity to go to 2nd. He got himself in a little bit of trouble last night with Alex and Kobe's game thread, but I mean, he said it was all in jest. I think that's the one thing that I would say, Shane, is you can be unapologetically you. That's me. I was the pot stirrer, the problem starter. But then you get people that are just like, they hate you and they don't like you, and it's for good reason. And then you're like, well, why is everybody against me? Why does everybody root against me? And I'm not one of those people because I understand who you are or what you are, because that's me. Keep a low profile for a season and see what happens. That's what I've been trying to strive to do. I don't want people to talk about my team. I don't want people to talk about my game. I don't want people to tune into my games. I don't want people to label me as as a user that is a playoff user or a problem starter or a Super Bowl contender. I just want to play my games quietly. I think you have an opportunity here to be number 2 in the division, which would make mathematically your playoff chances skyrocket versus being 3rd in the division. But you gotta, like, honestly, what Jacob said, the bad play that happened to you in the first quarter, that bad play is going to happen to your opponent in the 3rd, and that's the way I always look at it. Is and I don't want to sound like I'm preaching, but this is one of the things I notice is if bad things are happening to you in the first half, that's a good thing. And that sounds silly, but 9 times out of 10, I would challenge you to watch your games back, and you say, oh, nothing went right for me in the first half. Watch your opponent. I guarantee you bad things are happening to them in the second half, which is when you need the problems to happen.
Type shit.
Let's move on here. This one was a bit of a surprise for me. I'm just going to keep talking because I'm on a roll here, and then we'll come to you. I don't know what he was doing with Jake Browning. That was bizarre. But we all know that Kevin is a great drafter. I don't know how he did in the draft based off of the grades. I know Neon has them. I don't know if they're accurate or not. With that being said, we're one draft in. I would assume that he probably hit more than he missed in the draft. I would expect Kevin to give TK a run for his money in this division this year. I'm going to put Kevin in the playoffs. I don't think that's a hot take. Kevin can easily move out an Emmanuel or a Matt or a Brandon, somebody who's right there on the cusp of the playoffs, and just move them out of the way and take that spot. Interception by the Chiefs. Chiefs are running it back. 7-0 Chiefs. 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Go ahead, Jacob.
I think Kevin's an upper half user when he wants to be. I know sometimes, I'm not gonna say tanking, but he tanks sometimes. You gotta do what you gotta do. I do think he'll be a playoff user this season.
Oh, fumble by Mahomes. That's definitely a fumble.
But he drafted his quarterback. I believe he got the draft picks. He loves his drafting and building off of the draft. But yeah, give me keep it simple. Playoffs for Kev.
Yeah. So we had an interception, and then Patrick Mahomes on a scramble. Instead of diving, Brandon tried to get the first. We have Fumblerooski, and the Dolphins are back in business on the Chiefs 33. Move on here to the Raiders, the guys who won that division last season. Go ahead with your prediction here.
I think he'll do it again. Be a playoff user until someone can show me otherwise. TK, we know him. I think he's made the playoffs almost every year, but once since he joined the league. And yeah, playoff user.
Hot take? I don't know if it's a hot take. I think they swap. I think Kevin wins this division this year. TK still makes the playoffs, but as a wild card. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but that's my opinion. TK is a mixed bag. You get the TK that balls out against people that fit his structure of play, and then you get the TK that runs into a Dorian or somebody that just beats the brakes off of somebody because TK is more methodical, and you got a guy like Alex or Ray that can or Kobe that can do what they please on offense, and you got to kind of pick and choose what you're going to give them. And I don't think TK does a very good job of deciding, well, I'm not going to let receiver 1 do anything today. It's going to have to come from the tight end. I've not seen that. And we'll move on to the last team here, the Texans. Go ahead.
Okay. So I've never looked at a person and seen as much as that AJ, and I say this with.
It's probably because you influence them too much.
I barely talk to him anymore. We've distanced, anyways.
I wonder why.
Uh, he was what? Like I think he was like 13-1 at one point.
I think
You
you're giving
know,
him too much credit.
when we did the playoffs originally, like the playoff early predictions, like it was like 5 games to go.
He was spiraling at the end of the season. I want to say
Basically,
he
yeah. Like his
finished
last
11
six
and
games, he might have lost like 4 out of 6, 5 out of 6. Like he
he was
wasn't like
either 11-6 or 12-5, but it wasn't pretty.
he spiraled after having 1 or 2 losses, and he was the 1 seed at one point. I remember I had him as my 1 seed. You remember that when we did
Yep.
the predictions? And then he just lost every game because why wouldn't you? All love though, but he started off hot. It's about staying consistent through the whole year. You can afford a mishap here and there, but you can't. You can not towards the end of the season, AJ, because I just found it. Since week 14, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His last 5 games, he went 1-4, and then lost by 20 to Ray in the playoffs.
I mean, he did the
Absurd.
league a favor by losing that game. I don't know if he lost it on purpose, but respectfully, shout out to AJ for losing that game because he would have held the playoffs. I mean, we flew through those playoffs.
When we did our podcast, I remember I'm looking at it, he was 10-2. He finished 11-6. So complete spiral, complete breakdown.
Yep.
It's just about being consistent for AJ. He's a playoff user. He can, if he wants to, take the next step. I really believe it. It just because he has the team, he has the stick ability. It's just about remaining consistent through, especially the way I see it as someone who's been there. Suck the first half of the season. Get right to second half so you enter the playoffs on the hot streak. Okay, that's the way I see it. So if he can do that, no problem.
Yeah, don't go
But
cold at the end of the year. I don't agree with suck the first half of the season, but if you're gonna drop games that you should have won, drop them at the beginning of the year and build on that. Don't suck on purpose. That doesn't make any sense.
yeah,
Um, you know, in a perfect world, you would only lose maybe 2 or 3 games in the regular season, but your team is just getting better and better and better every week, and that didn't happen for you last year, AJ. You hit a peak, you ran into a wall, and then all of a sudden, all you're doing is losing games. You got out of the, or no, you didn't. I'm sorry. I was gonna say you got out of the wild card round. Now he ran into Ray, and Ray said, "It's time for you to go now, son." And that was the end of him. So basically, to build upon that, I would say, go ahead and win the division again. Try if you can. You've shown that you can do it. Go ahead and try and win the 1 seed, and that way you don't have to have a matchup right away, and then you kind of pick from whoever's left the worst seed. I think he can do it too. I think he's a playoff user. Just a quick update here. I know the stream's going to be ending here, but Chiefs 7, Miami 3, second quarter. Chiefs had a stop on defense to force a field goal. I'm gonna throw out a prediction here. Brandon, if he keeps running the way he is with Mahomes getting blasted instead of taking the slide, Mahomes getting hurt this game. We've seen 1,000 injuries this year thus far. I lost Jalen Hurts for a play or two due to a absolute, I call it a hate crime, what Dakari did to me, what he did to Jalen Hurts. But yeah, now slide with your quarterback, man. He's the best quarterback in the league. Slide with him. Obviously, it's a little too early to really be discussing anything else. Maybe we'll go back to our old format of doing a prediction here, maybe for week 3. Just a straight prediction and see how we did. I might go off the cuff and have you with somebody else, Jacob, and I'll make up lines for the games because I know, I don't know if Brandon's doing the lines or if Tommy's doing the lines, but they're doing them 3 weeks in advance, and you don't really know what you're dealing with. So a more accurate depiction, and that's not to take a shit on their ideas. Jacob, go ahead and send us up.
Yeah, we're in full swing now. Season two's underway. You know, if you lost week one, your season's not over. Don't crash out. Plenty of football left to be played. Schedule your games. Have fun. And you know, as Ryan's favorite point guard of all time would say, win, lose, or draw, have fun, people. And we'll catch you next time.
Promise you, he's not even top 20 favorite point guards of all time. He's not even a favorite. I don't know where you got that from. Yeah, week 1 week does not define your season unless it's week 15 through, what is it? Is it 18 or is it 17? I don't know. Whatever. The last couple weeks of the season are the games that define you. Pretty sure. Let me just double check here. Kobe lost. Dakari lost. Connor lost. And those guys are going to be hanging around in the playoffs at the end of the season, so I wouldn't stress that. Just keep on keeping on. But have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the holiday if you're off, like I am. If you're not, that's tough. Your job doesn't value veterans, and that should tell you to move on. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for tuning in. For the people that did watch while we were streaming, and for the people that watch it afterwards, thank you. Have a good one.